Hi everyone, so my name is Gabrielle and I've been raw vegan for 90 days. So I wanted to come on and give you all some tips, 25 tips to help you go raw vegan in 2025. If this is something you've been considering or something you've thought about doing but didn't really know how to go about it. Since I'm still new to this, I'm not an expert. I don't claim to be an expert. Just some things that have helped me on this journey for the past 90 days or so. So if I'm looking over here to the left, it's just because I'm looking at my notes to make sure I keep this video concise. So before we jump into the list, let's discuss what raw veganism is. So raw veganism is someone who eats only fruits, vegetables, nuts, and seeds, and they don't cook them over 115 degrees Fahrenheit. Some people say 118. I stick with 115, and that is what raw veganism is. Now let's get started. So tip number one is to just start. Don't wait. If you've been feeling like you want to go raw vegan, I would just say the time is now. Go ahead and do it when you have that urge or that feeling to just start. Just start it. Don't wait. Don't try to put a date on it or wait till a Monday or wait till the first of the month. I would just say start that day. The next one is start slow. So yes, you want to go ahead and just start and jump in, but you may need to start slow. I didn't start slow, but I came to the raw vegan food lifestyle from a juicing journey. And I didn't want to gain the weight back that I lost from juicing for 60 days. But if you are just eating regular foods, you may need to start slow. So you may need to either incorporate more salads into your diet, more fruits, then maybe do raw till 4, try it for a week, do meatless Mondays and see how that is, but incorporate meatless Mondays with a raw diet and not just, no meat, but still cooked vegetables. The next is to clean out your pantry, cabinets, and fridge. This definitely helped me as I was preparing to go raw. I cleaned out, all the processed foods, I started looking at labels in more detail, and it just sounded like a whole lot of chemistry. I got rid of a lot of those types of foods, things in my house that would tempt me on the journey. So that definitely helped. The next is to plan your produce and have some ready and some ripening at the same time. So me, I love avocados. Those are my favorite. I make guacamole almost every day. I just love guacamole. It's such a comfort food for me, and I can eat it with a spoon. I don't even need like any type of chips or crackers or anything to go with it. But with the avocados for myself, like I need to have some ripe and then some ripening. So the ripe is, dark green. It's kind of soft to the touch, whereas the ones that aren't ripe are, that bright green, and they're hard. You will have a hard time cutting into it. You want to make sure you kind of plan your meals and plan your produce to make sure you're not lacking in case you have that urge to want something. You want to make sure you have it on hand and it's ready to go. The next one is to buy bigger bowls. So this bowl, this is not a good size bowl if you're going to be raw. This is like, for me at this point, it's a side salad. I don't eat salads out of this bowl, but if I have a meal and I want a side salad, I would use this size bowl. This is the size bowl you would want to use. This is like 10 inches in diameter, and it's pretty deep. And you can see the comparison. This is the size bowl you would want to have for your salads, because the other bowl, you're not going to be full eating that little bit of salad. I got this bowl from IKEA. It was like $10. This has definitely helped in my journey to make sure that I'm eating enough, but you definitely want to make sure you have a bigger size bowl for salads. The next one is to get a good knife and cutting board. You're going to be chopping a lot of fruit and vegetables, so you want to make sure you have a good knife and cutting board. For the new year, I'm moving away from the plastic cutting boards that I was using because when you cut into it, the microplastics can get into your food. So I'm moving away. I'm getting silicone food grade cutting boards, and I'm also investing in 1 or 2 titanium cutting boards. As far as knives, I got my knives from Amazon a few years ago. My knife block has a part on it where you can sharpen your knives, and so I do try to sharpen them, pretty regularly. The cutting boards that are plastic they will dull your knives, so it'll make it harder for you to cut. Invest in good knives, and they don't have to be expensive, and invest in good cutting boards. Wood and bamboo are also supposed to be really good too, but I decided to go with silicone and also titanium, and those won't dull your knives as fast as the plastic that I have been using. And I will say, because I've been cutting and chopping, I have developed like a little bit of pain just in my index finger on my right hand because of the wrong technique. So just an added little tip is to make sure you're using the right cutting technique, because that is what this lifestyle is all about: chopping and cutting. So make sure you have, good utensils for that. The next thing I'll say is use spices. And not just, garlic powder, onion powder, your Lawry's, or I don't even use Lawry's. I don't have it anymore. I don't have Tony's. I don't have Old Bay, because a lot of those types of spices, they have a high salt content, and then they also have some like anti-caking agents in them. And so I like to keep everything, try to keep everything as pure as possible now. So I do buy more so like organic spices, and I have things like harissa, marjoram, just za'atar, different things like that to, add to my dishes to give it a better flavor profile. Because if you're just eating raw fruits and vegetables, that's going to be boring. You have to add some type of flavor, and that's where the spices come in. And you can make your own like taco seasonings with different things like chili powder, cayenne, cumin, things like that. So you can make your own of like those Tony's and the Lawry's and, your Old Bay. You could do your own version of it at home with the spices that you have on hand. The next tip is to track your progress. Find a way to track your progress. For me, I was doing X's on my calendar from when I started my juicing journey all the way up to the end of the year. I've kind of moved away from that a little bit just because I feel like I'm in a good rhythm and I know that I'm going to be eating raw. So I don't really track it as often, but I may go back. You just never know. But just find something that works for you. If it's X's or a check mark on a calendar, or something on your phone, or sticky notes that you have posted on a mirror somewhere. You could just take a sticky note down every day just to show you your progress. I would say do something like that because it helps to see like where you are. If you miss a day, you once you have so many days in that you've X'd off, if you miss a day, you want to get back on track as soon as possible. You don't want it to snowball into 5 missed days and then you're, off track with it. The next tip is to watch documentaries about veganism and animal slaughter. So some of the ones that I suggest are Earthlings, Forks Over Knives, What the Health. A new one that I watch is They're Trying to Kill Us. Get into the documentaries to see how the meat is getting to us, how it's affecting our environment as far as the pollution, how people have healed their, any type of ailments or anything they've dealt with through a vegan diet or raw vegan diet. The next tip along the same lines is to read books. So I've read Fit for Life and Fast Food Nation. One that I want to read that I haven't read yet, but I will this year, is Heal Your Body. So those are just some of the books that I've read about the raw vegan lifestyle and how it definitely helps to, heal your body and heal your mind as well. The next tip, again, along the same lines, is follow raw vegan influencers on social media. You want to immerse yourself into this world. So that's what I did. I kind of moved away from some of the people who were influencers as far as like cooked food, some of the chefs who make, amazing dishes, but it's just not the path that I'm on anymore, and started following influencers in the raw vegan space. So some of the people that I follow is Blooming Raw, Let's Talk Food, Whitney Peoples, Misfit Vegan, Jillian Berry, Raw Food Romance, Fully Raw Christina. So those are just a few. There's plenty more people out there who are on the lifestyle to follow, but those are just some of the few that I gain a lot of inspiration from. The next one is to unfollow pages, again, that aren't plant-based eating, or take a social media break altogether. That definitely helped me when I was on my juicing journey. I took a social media break. I just wanted to make sure that I was on my path and I didn't want any type of distraction. So I took a social media break for about that 60 days or so when I was still juicing. And once I became raw vegan, I was able to get back on because I liked the inspiration that I gained from, seeing what the influencers would post as far as what they're eating, recipes that they were making, things of that nature. The next tip, turn the TV off. Stop watching TV because that is a distraction for one thing. And two, there are so many commercials for all different types of fast food. And I know for me, it was a trigger. Like if I, it would definitely be something like before I started this journey where if I saw Taco Bell had some new menu item or McDonald's or whoever, I would be like making a plan to go and get that item. So now, I do still watch TV. I don't watch it as much, but during my juicing journey, I wasn't really watching much TV. Or if I did, I would, watch certain things on certain streaming sites that maybe I don't have, that doesn't have ads, because I didn't want to feel tempted or distracted when I'm trying to move into a new lifestyle. The next tip I would say is to explore ethnic markets. That really became a hobby of mine. I'm in Atlanta, so I started going to all the different type of markets, from like the Asian markets like H Mart or Nam de Moon, Hispanic markets like Talpa or any other of the supermercados, Indian markets, and then the Beaufort Highway Farmers Market, the Cobb County Market. So that was, and still is something, like I would just walk the aisles. I may not even buy anything, but I would walk around, just see, what type of fruit they had, different exotic fruits that I had seen, some vegan influencers eating, but I, before this journey had never even heard of. So just going around, see what they had, how much it is, knowing where to get it, and, getting certain spices and things from those places because those spices can be used in your dishes. Explore different farms or different produce farms, and also different events where you can meet local farmers. Build those relationships with them, talk to them about how they grow their food, how they spray their food and their produce and things like that. So that is another tip, is to make sure you're exploring any type of produce farms that may be in your area, and you could gain those relationships as well. The next tip is to look up recipes and save them. So before I became raw vegan, I was still juicing, but I was looking up recipes. That was like a big hobby of mine as well, is looking up recipes, saving them. I did also buy some of those plant-based bundles that a lot of the raw vegan influencers and even regular vegan influencers participate in, where it's like $50 and you get like over 100 things with the bundle. And I may not use all of it, but I would definitely save like the raw vegan influencer cookbooks or food preparation books. And I would have those recipes ready to go and on hand, so that way when I'm ready to eat, I have something to use, if I don't have a recipe in my mind that I want to, make up. And, I feel like with the recipes on this journey, it helps because it's kind of like a tried and true thing, especially if you know someone who you may not know how it'll taste, but if it sounds like something you had ate in your prior life, depending on like what's in the recipe or what's in the like spices and seasonings, then it's something that you could say, okay, this will be good. And it usually is. Like I haven't had a recipe that I've tried where it's something that I know that I enjoy and it didn't turn out good, or I didn't like it. learn how to store your produce to last longer. So you want to make sure you're storing your produce because the food does go bad on this journey. You are going to be at the supermarket more often. You want to make sure you're trying to store it as optimally as possible in order to make it fresher longer, and that way you have more time to use it. I don't have this, but you can buy certain like bags, green bags, to make them last longer. But yes, definitely you want to make sure you're storing your produce in the correct way. Next is to bring your family and friends into your new world and let them try your new recipes, or go to a raw vegan restaurant if there's any in your area. That'll help them see, that this lifestyle is good. You really don't miss anything from the cooked lifestyle once you're really into it. The next is to, when you're shopping for your produce and groceries, buy what's on sale if you can. There's a caveat to that because sometimes the products that are on sale are the ones that are about to expire. So if you're going to buy it but you're going to use it all, then I would say go for it. But yes, definitely look for those sales as much as possible so that way you can try to save money. I don't find that it to be more expensive than the way I was eating. It's just kind of switched. So before I was buying groceries and still going out to eat and not cooking the groceries, so then that's money wasted. Now I buy groceries only pretty much like 95% of the time, and I'm making those my meals with the groceries that I buy. The next tip is that once you've explored and price compared, shop where things you buy are cheaper. So for me, at one point, I would be in a grocery store and like one grocery store, but then I'll be looking up prices of another grocery store on Instacart. And if I saw, like, for instance, I was at the Beaufort Highway Farmers Market and I'm thinking, okay, well, produce should be cheaper here, but sometimes it wasn't. Sometimes it was cheaper for me to go to Sprouts and get it versus the Beaufort Highway Farmers Market. And so I would definitely say try to price compare. That way you can shop where things are cheaper. You may have to make multiple stops at different grocery stores, if you're really trying to save your coin as much as possible. But I would definitely say try to price compare. And once I started doing that, it was certain things that I knew, okay, no, I'm not getting this from Beaufort Highway. I'll just go to Sprouts and get it, or I'll go to Aldi and get it. The next tip is to buy in-season produce. So make sure you buy in season. That'll help it be less expensive as well. If you buy out of season, it can be more expensive. And when it's in season, it just tastes a lot better in my opinion. So definitely buy in-season produce. So the next tip is to eat more food. Eat more food. You can't be, again, using small bowls on this journey. You need to eat more food. And if you feel hungry, eat more, because you don't have to restrict on this lifestyle. There are people who do count calories. They do track macros. I don't do that. I'm still, losing weight. I'm not tracking. I do make sure that I'm not, if I have avocados, I'm typically not eating a whole lot of other fats. But at the end of the day, I don't care. One day may be higher, the next day may be lower. It'll all average out in the end, is my opinion. But you don't have to track. So if you get hungry, eat more food, because the food is nutritious. So it may not sit in your stomach as long and keep you full as long as, processed food or meat does. Because it's probably going, right through you. The next tip is to don't beat yourself up if you fall off. It's progress, not perfection. So you don't have to beat yourself up about it if you've been doing good and then you slipped and you had something that wasn't raw, or you had something that was cooked vegan food. I would just say get back on track the next meal or the next day. Don't let it snowball into a longer thing, but get back on track. That's all you can do. It's progress. It's not perfection. That just goes back to my earlier tip. If you're tracking your progress in some way that's visual for you, then, you know, you shouldn't have a problem with getting back on track. You're not perfect. Nobody is. So it is what it is. The next tip is being raw in the wintertime. I don't really deal with being cold or wanting warm foods or craving warm foods. Now, I don't live somewhere that is super cold all the time since I'm not like in the north, but I haven't dealt with that. What I do is in the wintertime now, I'm dressing warmer. You know, I'm dressing appropriately for my house. I may set my thermostat up more, but I'm not somebody who likes to be cold. So I do keep my heat at a pretty comfortable level at home. I haven't felt like the food is making me colder. And I am somebody who is anemic because I have sickle cell. So, you know, but this hasn't been an issue for me as far as feeling like cold or wanting warm foods. Depending on what type of blender you have, you can warm your food up to like 115 degrees. You can also put in a dehydrator if you have it. These appliances, you don't necessarily have to have these things to be a raw vegan. You know, they're helpful, but you don't have to have them. But you can do that to help if you want that warm sensation. You can drink warm tea. Like I always start my morning with warm water with lemon. It's not been hard for me to be raw during the winter. And I started in September, so it wasn't super cold. And right now, you know, it depends on the weather and things like that, but it's not really that cold here in Atlanta. And then the last tip is to enjoy the journey. Just enjoy the journey. You know, it is fun. I have a lot of fun with this. I'm trying new things that I've never tried before. I'm trying new fruits that I haven't tried before, never had even heard of, like I said before. So trying new things like making raw vegan cheese or raw vegan Alfredo, like these things that taste just as good as the regular Alfredo or regular cheese, and it's not all the guilt. So that is what I enjoy most, is that I can still have the things that I ate before, and I don't go to bed with feeling lethargic or feeling just too full or feeling like I shouldn't have ate that. You know, waking up the next day and my stomach is in knots because I ate something that I shouldn't have ate. It didn't sit well, you know, with me. So I enjoy that a part of this journey as well. Those are my tips. Those are 25 tips to help you go raw vegan in 2025. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below and I'll definitely answer. And I will talk to you all in the next video.